Hi everyone. I am sorry it's been a while since I posted a video. I have had a lot going on, chief among those things, graduation requirements. And so I haven't had the amount of time that I needed. So what I'm going to try to do with this video is to cover both the Raw talks, and I'll put down in the description the different timestamps. So if you're looking for the 3rd, then you can just keep watching from here. Or if you're looking for the Raw Talk review from the 10th of May, then I'll put the timestamp for that down in the description. What's my name? Oh yeah, I'm Casualeann. Come with me. So the Raw Talk from May 3rd starts with Kayla and R-Truth because Kevin Patrick is out. Now, why is Kevin Patrick out? Turns out that his wife has given birth to a beautiful baby girl and that he's with them. And R-Truth mentions something about possibly, becoming a godfather. But they start to talk about Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley and, them going at it. And R-Truth has this amazing line. He says, when you take your eye off handling your business handles you. And they talk about Drew being one of the 3 guests later on, and he's like, oh, my boy Drew. And they mentioned that RK Bro is now 2-0, and my notes app is already correcting my capitalization of RK Bro. I guess they're that popular now, or I've typed their names that much. But Truth spreads some goodwill. He talks about, he and Riddle, sowing these seeds. I guess they, have been talking about their own tag team, but that, he's cheering on RK Bro, aren't we all? So they talk about Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defeating Lana and Naomi. And Kayla talks about them being a force. But Truth posits that, okay, there's gonna be time out for that too. Almost sounds like a little tiny bit of foreshadowing, maybe. But that he thinks like the Lana, Naomi, Lana team can unseat them as champions, and that the glow thing gets them hype. And that is the extent of their gimmick, isn't it? Naomi is one of the best female athletes, one of the best athletes, period, on the roster, and her gimmick is coming down to the ring in colorful costume and glowing lights. Anyway, Rhea Ripley is going to be one of the guests, and Damian Priest, as well as Drew McIntyre. This first segment, again, was just recap, but it didn't really bother me as badly as it had last week. I don't know if it was just, if the back and forth was a little more smooth. I'm not sure why, but it didn't bother me as much. So we get a commercial break. Then we get segment 2, which is with Rhea Ripley. Kayla asks her how she's feeling about Charlotte being added to Rhea's match with Asuka, making it a triple threat. And Rhea's mad about it, naturally, but she reiterates that, Charlotte is just jealous. She's mad that she wasn't added to WrestleMania. She didn't get to be there. She's got like this really cool like Freddy Krueger tattoo on like her forearm, I think. Total aside, but that Sonya has been reckless in her dealings with Flair, and she thinks they might be, in cahoots. Truth is he kind of plays a little bit of devil's advocate, I think. He says that, he thinks that Sonya was, maybe just trying to help Charlotte out, step up, bring her back. kind of reminding the audience of Sonya's sentiments from the week before, because she was actually on Raw Talk the previous week. Kayla actually asks him if he's justifying Sonya's actions, and he's like, no. But Rhea likens Charlotte to a robber, so like someone who is attempting to come in and take something that does not belong to her, something that Rhea herself has earned. And she's not going to allow that to happen. It's at this point that Kayla asks about like Asuka's role, and it gets a little minimized for a moment. The conversation keeps getting steered back to Charlotte. Anyway, but Rhea does an amazing job of getting back to Asuka by saying, that Charlotte thinks Asuka being in the triple threat is like an easy way to put the belt on herself, or to get the belt on herself. But, that is not going to work. And so then Kayla says that she personally hopes that she continues to be Raw Women's Champion, which, I don't know. I mean, I know it's entertainment, but there's something about like this, like personal opinions that I don't know. I didn't really care for it all that much. I mean, I guess it's the world of Fox News and CNN, so I mean, I guess opinions don't have to be extracted from, journalism, but yeah, I don't know, it bugged me a little bit. But we get another commercial break, no ads that I haven't already talked about, and we go into segment 3, which is with Damian Priest. Truth has a lot of names, a lot of nicknames for a lot of different people, and he lets us know that his nickname for Damian is DP. When Damian Priest smiles, the whole world smiles with him. He's got a radiant grin. But he talks about the fact that Miz and Morrison, he's beaten both of them. I like that they are actually casting Damian Priest as a winner. Please don't bury him. That's fair enough. I really wished he could fight and beat up somebody other than Miz and Morrison, but I'll take it. I'm just glad that he's winning and he's not losing, like being pinned by the Miz in his underpants. He says that Miz, and much in the way that Rhea claims with Charlotte, Miz is jealous. He's not the current man. He's not the man everyone's talking about right now. But that by trying Damian, he's got the wrong one. But he still gives him some respect and some props, because he says that he doesn't get his due. Kind of reiterating what Miz was saying earlier about himself. Like, he doesn't get the same sort of credit that like The Rock, Stone Cold, people like that get. But he draws a hard line in the sand. It wouldn't be a hard line if it's in sand. It's a terrible metaphor. Maybe it's wet sand. He draws a hard line between his respect for Miz's accomplishments and the way the Miz carries himself, the way he conducts himself. And then somehow, I don't have the notes for it as to how it happened, but somehow they get back to the tomatoes fight. This super critical, important thing that happened a few weeks ago. Truth asks if the tomatoes were rotten, and Priest, to his credit, sticks to the story. The silly story that it is, he sticks to it, that the tomatoes were actually fresh. But those are the most table ready, fresh, red, bright looking rotten tomatoes I've ever seen in my life. But okay. Kayla asks Damian about his goals. if he's hoping to be done with Miz and Morrison. We're hoping he's done. He says, as he has said in interviews before, that his goal is moments, making a name for himself that will last, that'll stand the test of time. But that eventually he's going to have to start winning championships. Kayla kind of uses that as a segue to plug the WWE Chronicle that's come out about him. And he says that, you know, he's not like an emotion on his sleeves kind of guy, but that he did give some in the Chronicle, and hopes, you know, that it'll help somebody, because he says he is the legit example of someone who isn't supposed to be there. And that got me really excited to see it. I really want to see what his story is, straight from him. We get another commercial break, and then the final segment is Drew's. So he comes out, he's still in his ring gear, you know, shirtless and everything. He acknowledges that he made a mistake at WrestleMania, that MVP distracted him. He does acknowledge that, but he says that he's not going to get distracted again. He's living a 24/7 lifestyle at this point, almost the more serious version of what goes on with the 24/7 champion. And that he, you know, obviously still even has his gear on in the interview. Kayla asks him what his assessment of Bobby is. And he says that he can't be mad at him. He's doing whatever it takes to become champion, or to stay champion. And that it's, you know, kind of like MVP is the one that, you know, keeps running his mouth. But that he is going to get his baby back. So I guess the I love you baby type thing isn't just mid-card. My mistake. It's a relatively short segment, but Kayla does give him some space at the end to talk about his book, which is A Chosen Destiny, My Story. I personally am a little burned out on extended reading, but just hearing him talking about it, I might have to pull myself back together to read this one. It sounds like it's something that's going to be quite inspirational. I don't know, anyone with a curved path to prominence that actually had to go through something, like, that always piques my curiosity. If I had to give a must-watch segment for this particular review, it would be segment 3 with Damian Priest. He's genuine. His charisma's on display. I think he's making the best of a feud that has probably gone on a little too long, if we're just being honest. And it's a feud that, even though, you know, he's the recent call-up, it was a feud that, like, he wasn't even the breakout star of. And that's, you know, no offense to Bad Bunny or anything like that, but that's just the way it happened. His victories are the recent ones. You know, I'm glad the underpants thing is a little further in the rear view. With every week, it gets further in the rear view. And he still shows some respect for Miz, which is solid with his character. I would give this particular Raw a rating of 4 out of 5. I liked the Rhea promo. She's consistent with her justification for the feud with Charlotte. She's consistent with the justification for Charlotte's heel turn, and, you know, her feeling left out. Even though Asuka isn't placed as heavily in the forefront as Charlotte and Rhea, Rhea is still talking her up as a threat, and she's not allowing her to get, like, backgrounded or forgotten about, which is also really nice. Drew comes across as focused, on his guard, also consistent. So, good solid show. So for this past Monday's Raw Talk, Kevin Patrick is back, and he has an important question for R-Truth. And he asks him if he wants to be Maisie, his newborn daughter's godfather. like right there on Raw Talk. And R-Truth accepts. It's a very, very touching, sweet moment. But they show particularly Braun snatching MVP's, like, that is a pimp cane to me, but snatching the cane out of MVP's hand and putting Bobby Lashley in the running power slam, like through a retaining wall. Brilliant. The guests that they're going to have are Braun Strowman, Jinder Mahal, who just came back that night, Charlotte, and they mentioned like the Damian versus Miz match is now going to be a lumberjack match. Segment 2 starts with Braun Strowman, the bearer of the coolest inside of the arm tattoo ever. He's shirtless, sweaty, and back on top of the food chain. He says that you're never going to see a match like this. A match like this, of course, being the triple threat with Drew, and Bobby Lashley. He says it's going to be like King Kong versus Godzilla versus the Incredible Hulk. And of course, what went through my mind was, well, which one's which? Is Bobby Lashley the Incredible Hulk because he's kind of smaller but like calculating? When his anger's released, it's dangerous. I don't know. He talks both of them up also. He says, you know, that Drew and Bobby are the baddest men out today, but that he's still going to be the new WWE champion. So Kevin asks, and he goes off. It was that quick. Kevin Patrick asks R-Truth, like, hey, you know, like, who's your pick to be in this match, or to emerge the WWE champion? And and R-Truth almost is a little scared at this point to like choose sides. Braun's already gone, but he's still a little shook. He says, you know, Drew, Bobby, Braun, some combination of the three names, some order. Who's Kevin Patrick's pick? Who? Kevin Patrick says that he is an impartial journalist. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, he has no idea how refreshing that is. It's like, wow. Journalists. He doesn't have an opinion that he's willing to express. Exactly. You can have all the opinions you want to, but yeah, being an impartial journalist, that's my take on it. There's a commercial break, and then when we come back, you have Jinder Mahal and his entourage. And I apologize if I butchered their names, but I think it's Veer and Shanky. But that's his posse right now. He sits down. He says he's happy that, you know, hey, again, soon he's going to be the WWE champion. And that even if he feels like it, or if there's a referee, hey, he might just become a champion today. And at this point, R-Truth gets a little shook. He's Jinder Mahal's eyeing the 24/7 title, and he tries to kind of redirect him. He's like, well, you know, I want to know what's on the horizon with he calls him V and Shanky Shank, and Jinder does not like that at all. He's very quick to correct him. Kevin Patrick asks, like, you know, with them representing like 1.4 billion people in India, what can they expect from Jinder Mahal now? And he says, you know, he's still the Maharaja. You know, they can expect U.S. championships, WWE championships, tag team championships, 24/7. Like, he's really like driving this tension in between he and Truth. Kevin Patrick asks him what his thoughts are about the triple threat match. And he says that, you know, no matter who wins, whether it's his good friend Drew McIntyre, which is a nice callback to the 3MB days. Still can't believe Heath Slater's gone. Anyway, whether it's Drew McIntyre, Braun, or Bobby, that their days are numbered because he's going to be WWE champion again. So he goes off. We have another commercial break, and then the final segment is with Charlotte Flair. And she comes out, and Kevin Patrick is asking her about getting suspended and having to pay like the $100,000, like where her head is. She says that she asked Ric Flair to pay it. Completely delusional at this point, because she says even if she didn't get into WrestleMania, you know, she's still gonna be in a match with WrestleMania in the title. Kevin Patrick asks if she's kind of manipulating what's going on with Sonya Deville, specifically her asking for Rhea and Asuka to fight each other this past week on Raw. And she said, you know, she was just asking nicely, like she's been taught, just to get a front row seat. It's a fight she wanted to see. And Kevin Patrick asks her what goes through her mind when she sees Rhea with the title. And she says, I thought it was so cool, she says, she looks good with it, but I look better. It fits her character to a T. And R-Truth has a great line as well. He says, confidence and cocky are cousins. Like, oh my goodness. I guess they have some sort of connection because of the Carolinas. They mention that. Which, I mean, Braun Strowman does too. But maybe it didn't come up. With that, I'll give you the must-watch segment. And this one, again, was hard for me to parse out. If you're curious about what direction Jinder Mahal might be headed in, his dynamic with R-Truth, then your must-watch segment is 3. That's the one with him. If you want to see the Queen heel out, then it's segment 4 with Charlotte. They're both steady with their characters. They both interact with Truth and Patrick quite well. Mahal was a tiny bit shaky from moment to moment, but it got way better kind of as the interview went on. He may just kind of be getting back into the swing of things. I mean, it was literally his first Raw match back, so might be a little rust there. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5, so above average, but not fantastic. The Braun segment was a little short. I am happy to see Jinder back. He got a bad rap, I think, for like his WWE Championship run. I wouldn't mind seeing him reign again. Not right now. but you know, one day. I think he did the right thing by kind of adroitly leaving the door open for like a lot of rivalries. So like it could be the WWE title. It could be the US. It could be, you know, the 24/7. He leaves the door open. I think that's smart. Not quite as imposing with less hair. I don't know why. He seemed like more of a butt kicker with the curly hair. But anyway, Charlotte was very confident, very composed, nice heel. I think the match with Asuka and Rhea Ripley, I think it's going to be great. I still have no clue as to who my pick for that match or any of the others, to be honest, will be. But I think I am going to try to do a prediction video before WrestleMania Backlash. And of course, I'll post it here. And we'll see how wrong I end up being. But that's all for now. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tap that bell icon to make sure that you get notifications for when new videos come in. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you soon.